Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I'll be making part 1 of my video series of how I got into the UCs. I got into UCLA and UC Berkeley, so I thought it would be a good idea to share some of my tips and tricks with you guys. And part 1 of this video series will be me reading out my UC essays, which I haven't looked at in almost half a year. So I will probably cringe at some point and I'll just talk you guys through as I go along. I feel like reading my essay can be really challenging because I've had this idea for a really long time and I'm always too scared to do it because I feel like it's a very personal essay, as explained by the title, and I feel like people would judge me when I read it and people would be like, ew, why would she write that? Like, that's so awkward, that's so cringy. So please be respectful and I'll really appreciate it. Before I get started, I have a few things to say. Firstly, I don't know if you can hear it, but my sister is playing flute downstairs, so it can get a little bit loud from time to time. Secondly, I've heard of this idea saying that UCs don't value the essays as much as a lot of the East Coast, like Ivy League schools do. I don't know if this is true, but maybe consider it and take it with a grain of salt. In case you're wondering whether I chose UCLA or UC Berkeley, I actually chose neither of those schools. I chose USC in the end, University of Southern California. Also, I am planning on making more videos about my college experience, featuring how I got into USC, also how I got into Emory, and if you're interested in Canadian universities like UBC or University of Toronto, I have also gotten into both of these schools. So I'll be making more videos like these, and just let me know in the comment section if you have a specific topic that you would like me to cover. And with that said, let's get started. If my memory didn't fail me, I remember there were 8 prompts. This is a very Chinese 8. There were 8 prompts, and then you have to choose 4 out of the 8 to write about. And each one should be 250 to 350 words. So I'll be starting with the first prompt that I chose, which is describe an example of your leadership experience in which you have positively influenced others, helped resolve issues, or contributed to group efforts over time. So I'll be reading this in a slower speed because I just want more clarity. But you can definitely turn up the speed into like 1.25 or 1.5 if you think I'm speaking too slow or too fast. Like, just adjust your speed by yourself. Here it goes. In an old dorm room, wow, mysterious. Okay. 10 peers gathered beneath a glitching ceiling light and passionately argued about their business ideas. During the summer of 2019, I participated in SHAD Canada, a 4-week STEM and entrepreneurship program at Carleton University's campus. We were challenged to tackle the problem of reducing Canada's waste. In groups of 10, we needed to draft a 20-page business plan, create a physical model of a product, and present our idea to a panel of business leaders for feedback. I was voted to be the project manager. However, the challenge of leading an active group was that everyone was offering and persisting with their own ideas, resulting in a slow decision-making process. As such, I voluntarily adopted a moderating role and prepared an agenda for every team meeting. I initiated a voting process whenever discussions became repetitive, created a policy where only the person with the talking ball could speak, and brainstormed a third option that optimized the 2 opposing options. Finally, our team decided to create a beef box with an indicator embedded within a reusable plastic container, which changed color once the meat spoiled. To maximize efficiency, I distributed tasks to my team members based on their strength: artistic marketing illustrations, engineering modeling, and the writing of the business plan, which I took on myself. Moreover, my team often felt anxious due to the 2-week deadline. Thus, I occasionally ordered bubble tea, shared memes through our group chat, and encouraged rap music dance-offs during break times, hoping to create more laughter in the dim, crowded dorm. Additionally, I spent my early morning rehearsing with my friend, who was too nervous and had trouble memorizing her presentation speech. I shared my public speaking tips with her, helping her memorize key transitional words and concentrate on a spot on the wall instead of having eye contact with the audience. Witnessing smoothly delivering her speech in the final presentation, I received my reward as a project manager, celebrating the growth of the people with whom I have collaborated. To be honest, SHAD was really a good time. It was like one of the best summer programs that I have attended in my high school years. I think the core tips that I learned from other people who applied to the UCs before me is that when it comes to writing UC essays, you don't have to focus on being overly fancy with your words or have a really dramatic plot or get really emotional. You don't have to make, the admission officers cry or laugh so hard. I think they told me that when it comes to UC essays, what's more important is that you're actually showcasing your academic writing skills, that you are capable of writing formally and being clear and concise and coherent with your essays. With that said, let's move on to the second essay. And I chose the prompt of, what would you say is your greatest talent or skill? How have you developed and demonstrated that talent over time? Okay, so most of my essays are literally on the brink of over the word limit. This one is 349 words. I'm pretty sure I cut it down from like 400, like word by word. Like, do you need A here? I feel like you don't need A. Like, instead of writing it is, like I have to put it into like it's with an apostrophe. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who apply for college can relate to this experience. And usually these editing, like cutting down words, take the most time because you feel like everything you wrote like matters. Well, like I'm pretty sure admission officer doesn't really care. 3 years ago, I reluctantly stepped into a classroom where debaters argued about a motion related to guaranteed minimum income. Not knowing what guaranteed minimum income was, I sat in the back and remained silent for the entire class. Initially afraid of public speaking, I was still attracted by the valuable skills that debate promotes. Reflection upon the duality of policies, fancy, the rapid back and forth of intellectual discourse, and the ability to logically voice one's ideologies and opinions. I watched classic debate speeches on YouTube, brainstormed possible motions when reading about current events, reviewed my own recorded speeches, and mimicked my favorite debaters in the mirror. I tried adding right after sentences, placing my hands into my invisible pockets, stretching out the pauses, and more. I captured every tournament opportunity, including the time when I had a fever during Harvard Invitational 17. After a year, I stopped having to awkwardly laugh along my peers' political jokes, and I began to receive individual speaker awards, semi-finalist team rankings, and qualifications to compete in provincial tournaments. These recognitions have become symbols of my journey to social and global awareness, which have deepened my understanding of a world that extends beyond my neighboring communities. Through debate, public speaking has become my strength, helping me in many school assembly speeches and business sale pitch presentations. In particular, during the Prosper Case competition in 2019, I was able to quickly adopt my teacher's feedback and adjust my cost-benefit analysis 1 minute before our official presentation. One of the judges commented that I have a very engaging and genuine speaking style. As the debate coach of 14 grade 6 to 8 students, I am the mentor who draws the students from the back of the class and teaches them lessons about the comparisons between welfare, guaranteed minimum income, and the universal basic income systems. Today, I am unafraid to take on leadership and mentoring opportunities. Whether they relate to debate performances, captaining my volleyball team, or management of my school's newspaper, these are all activities I hope to continue engaging with as I move forward towards my university years. I swear, I don't think I've heard anyone using captaining as a word. It is really like a verb, but then I had to use it because I was running out of words, word count, but then it's just so awkward now I read it. The third prompt that I chose is, what have you done to make your school or your community a better place? Standing on the podium, I, the tournament director, welcomed over 100 debaters, 40 judges, and 50 volunteers. At 9 a.m., May 4th, 2019, the tournament officially began. Ooh, specific. The Greater Vancouver area has many tournaments for competitive debaters. However, inexperienced debaters are often intimidated by these fierce competitions, deterring them from participating and learning about debate. Which was me, a few years ago when I first started debate. I was so scared of these competitions because everyone just looks so serious and aggressive. To address the unmet needs of having more inclusive tournaments, I convinced my friends to join my initiative and founded the first debate tournament held under the name of St. John's School. Following countless promotional emails and information packages, my team and I finally recruited a large number of participants, judges, and volunteers. Since 2 of my teammates had never experienced a debate tournament, I frequently offer them guidance as to how to prepare the logistics. including creating debate motions, organizing room configurations, drawing out campus directions, designing trophies, setting up a tabulation system, training volunteers to become moderators, scheduling cleaners, and more. All these seemingly tedious tasks were, in fact, the crucial elements to a successful tournament. See a lot of examples being used there to show that I was actually there and I was a part of the team. Take notes, kids. On the day of the tournament, I was rushing from one place to the next, solving problems of all kinds, collecting missing ballots, contacting absent participants, handing out many gifts to volunteers, and delivering briefings to debaters and judges. At 6 p.m., the tournament ended. My ankles were swollen from climbing stairs and heels, and my makeup had worn off. However, it was worth all the effort to hear all the passionate voices during debates. Witnessing young novice debaters gather in small circles to discuss their analysis and strategies, which reminded me the debater I was 3 years ago. Sentimental. Nostalgic. I received many thanks and appreciations from both debaters and coaches, as well as our school teachers who enjoyed their first-time exposure to the world of debate. We made $1,000 in surplus from collecting registration fees. Since so many of our debaters have immigrant backgrounds, we decided to donate the funds to Immigrant Service Society, a nonprofit organization. I intend to organize another tournament next spring, which never happened because of coronavirus. Ho ho ho. I can't feel my legs, but that's the end of the essay, so I'm just gonna move forward. As you can see, I wrote 2 essays about debate. Technically, I don't think it's a preferred way because I think you do want to showcase that you have like a diverse extracurriculars and life experiences. But it's just that debate was such a big part of my life throughout high school, and I basically spent around 5 hours like every week on extracurriculars related to debate. Like 3 hours I was in class, 2 hours I was coaching and but getting paid, obviously. So debate was like a really important memory of my high school years, and I had a lot of stories to tell, which is why I had to go with 2 because there were just so many and I had to put it in there. Now moving on to my last essay. The last essay's prompt is, every person has a creative side, and it can be expressed in many ways. Problem solving, original and innovative thinking, and artistically, to name a few. Describe how you express your creative side. So my focus is about my playwriting journey, and my playwright was centered around the theme of gender roles and gender equality. This essay actually makes me feel a little bit iffy because it is a very genuine essay, but I feel like topics like identity, culture, gender, or race has been done a lot for college application. So I was very scared when I wrote this, thinking that perhaps this will just blend into the rest of the applicants because I feel like a lot of people like to talk about this topic. However, I ended up still deciding to put it in there because I feel like it is a very big part of who that makes me me. It's because I think throughout my middle school and high school years, I was very interested in everything about gender equality, gender roles. I was always wondering why there's so much controversy surrounding gender issues, which is why I was very interested in it. I would watch a lot of documentaries about it. I would read books about it, or just, news article, media, everything. This whole gender exploration has really made me who I am right now, which is why I still decided to risk it and put it in, even though it might have been an overdone topic. And I'm just gonna read this now. Everyone said that I'm a shoe. What if one day I stopped and I said that I don't want to be a shoe, I want to be a hat? Rewatching the entire TV show Friends for the 8th time. Awesome show, guys. Yes, I'm basic like that, but it's also a classic. I was enlightened by the character Rachel Greensword and finally gave a name to my play, Hats and Shoes. Growing up in Asia, girls are often expected to be their family's cotton quilts, sweet and always willing to follow family authority. However, after immigrating to North America, I was exposed to the infinite possibilities available to me in this diverse and accepting community. I began to question my family's conservative plan and gender-specific expectations that I had to follow. Due to my interest in theatrical arts, I wanted to write an authentic play and perform my own work to explore the subtle gendered messages in both Asian and North American cultures, while reflecting on my own journey to self-discovery. As background research, I read feminist literature, watched documentaries about gender norms in contemporary culture, and attended career workshops including Women in Capital Markets. In particular, Gloria Steinem's essay, If Men Could Menstruate, which criticizes the ethical justification behind gender roles, inspired me to reflect on how my family tends to glorify conformity by claiming it's Chinese tradition that girls should be more agreeable. Naturally, my play focused on two female protagonists who struggled to choose between fulfilling their existing roles and taking the risk to follow their hearts. Eventually, I performed 2 monologues in my play for Bolton Academy of Spoken Arts Senior Theater Program. As the character Abby undergoes a moment of realization, I release my emotions through voice and movements, embracing her feelings of disillusionment and anger as my own. Theatrical arts encourage me to explore my psyche by connecting with the characters through empathy and vulnerability. In my play, hats and shoes are symbol of the different lifestyle In my play, hats and shoes are symbols of the different lifestyle options which my characters and I can choose. To enjoy one's dream shoes, one must overcome the fear of disappointing those individuals who choose to see them as hats. Okay, I feel like it might be a little bit cheesy as a metaphor, but I think it works in this context. So this is it for my UC essays. So before I end this video, I will just want to mention a few things. So something that I learned throughout my college essay writing process is that I feel like a lot of times when I was writing essay, I was a little bit anxious because I feel like I'm not funny enough or emotional or dramatic enough to make the admission officers like me. And I was scared that I'm always sounding too serious, too concise, or too simple in a lot of my essays. But guess what? It turned out just fine, and I got into UCLA, I got into UC Berkeley, I got into USC, Emory, just being me, writing in a very formal, serious tone, which is my style of writing when it comes to writing, and I love writing in a concise manner. So this is who I am. So I think when it comes to writing your college essay, I know that a lot of those sample essays that we read online, they're always so funny, they're so like heartfelt, and it just makes you want to laugh. And then you look back at your life and you're like, why don't I have any of that experience? Like, why don't I have any stories like that? But the truth is, maybe that's just not your style. Because honestly, a lot of admission officers, they're not only looking at funny stories, or they're not only admitting students who have very emotional journey. They're also looking at students who are able to write academically, who are intellectual, who are able to show that they're critical thinkers through their essays. So I think by giving yourself that voice to show that you're capable of all of these things, show that you're intellectual, show that you're academic, you can still have a really good essay that admission officers really like, and you can still get into the universities that you want. So that was very serious for a second. This will mark the end of my video today. I hoped my essays can give you guys some sort of inspiration. I think it's always nice to hear another person's voice, so you have more inspirations, and it really helps to clarify who you are and if you like my writing style or not. And just please let me know in the comment section if you have any video requests or questions, and we'll see you next time. Bye!